channel. So day 2 of picking corn with L2 number 3. So yesterday, after I made the first video of running this combine, I gotta go back to where I started, or from where I left off. I got full, so it's right here. So anyways, yesterday everything was going good after I got done with the first video, and I was reading through the comments of the first video, and I had mentioned in the video that I didn't like how slow this head was running, and I wanted to speed it up. Well, one of my viewers told me, well, use your variable speed head drive, which Gleaner was ahead of their time with that. Well, I've never really used one, never really needed to use one. So I thought, what the hell, I got out and I hooked the hydraulic hose up to it, and got back in, started the machine, and sure as shit, it sped the head up, and I'm like, great, this is going to work out good. I was all excited. So I go back to pick the corn, and the next thing I know, my head starts slowing down, and then all of a sudden it like comes to a rolling stop. I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. That's a belt slipping. So I shut the machine off, and I get out, and I'm climbing down the ladder, and I smell oil, and I look at the back of the head, and there's like an oil strip on the back. I'm like, oh no, this isn't good. Come to find out, the seals are out in the variable speed head drive. So I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to do now? I don't have no parts for it. I'll have to order parts for it. So I thought, well, we were going slow and steady. We were still getting corn shelled. We had a truck driver yesterday, so both machines were running constantly, and we were keeping up a good pace with the trucks. So I thought, well, I'll just clean the belt off, and we'll go back to pick the corn. Just take it easy, you know. So I ran back to the shop, I get some Dawn dish soap, and I get our pressure washer, which is a hot water pressure washer. I put soap all over the belt, all over the pulleys, and I let the machine idle, and I just keep washing and washing and washing. Well, there's soap suds slinging all over the place, and I could see that the oil was coming off. I'm like, good. And it's automatic transmission fluid, so it seems to wash off fairly easy. So I got that all cleaned up, got back to the field, and it was perfectly fine. So I'm like, well, that was luck. So I am going to reseal that because I do realize that it will really help out. So thank you for suggesting to use it. It's just unfortunate that the seals are out of this one. So anyways, I get back to pick the corn, and I get probably 15 acres picked, and I got to a point where I needed to break in around a little island woods that's out in the middle of this field. It's maybe an acre of woods, and we farm all the way around it. So I'm gonna pick off the ends, you know. I pull up there with the combine, idle it down, I turn the separator switch on, I turn the head switch on, and I feel a jerk on the right side of the combine. I can like feel it in the seat. Like, oh great, what's that? So I get out of the combine, I walk around, and the roller chain that runs the separator rattle chain is all wrapped up around the shaft that runs the head and the feeder beater. And I realized that the keyway is sheared out of that sprocket right there. And under a little more investigation, we got some pickle line here. Story of the season, pickle line. Let me get through this. I can get it to feed in, it'll eat it. Okay, so we got through that. Anyways, so I realized the stub shaft out of the side of the thrasher housing is bent, where the sprocket runs on, it runs the separator rattle, and the sprocket's all bent. The spring-loaded tensioner is all twisted. So So it's an absolute train wreck on that side of the combine. So I decide, well, I'm going to run her back to the shop. I'm only a mile away or so. I'll go get parts off of L2 number 2 sitting out back, and I'll fix it all. No big deal, right? Get back to the shop. I get the combine put in the shop, and I parked the combine outside. I went in the shop. I slid the doors open. I brought it in the back doors like we always do. I run back out, I get the combine, drive it in, not even looking at the rear tire of the combine at all, just kind of in my zone of what I need to get done. I climb down out of the combine and I smell oil again. Like, oh no, where's that smell coming from? I look back at the rear of the combine and I realize the one rear tire, the bar tire from Mud Hog, I realize it's got oil all over the tread. Well, then I started investigating more, and I realized that there's oil running on the rim of the wheel, and there's a puddle on the floor, a good-sized puddle at this point. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to fix everything on the right side of the thrasher housing, but get all that put back together, and then we're going to investigate what our oil leak is. So I go out back, I get all the parts off L2 number 2, bring them in the shop. I got this thing all patched up, fixed up. I took the cover off the rattle chain. I used a pipe wrench to turn the shaft. I cleaned everything out. Everything works free. Nothing's bound up. The chain's the proper tension. Darn pickle line. At least this stuff got frosted, so it's dried out. It sucks right in. So anyways, everything's cleaned out, put it all back together. So I'm like, okay, let's investigate what's going on with that rear wheel. So the previous owner told me that the rotary valves is what I'm going to call them. They're actually like a rotary swivel. It comes right up through the center of the kingpin. I guess you call it the kingpin. That's what the propulsion motor turns on so that it will steer. Oil's got to get down through there to feed the motors for the Mud Hog. Well, the top rotary valve is leaking terribly and the seals are blew out of the top of it. So he had given me some updated ones that Gleaner had come out with, but he said he could never get them to work because the top fitting comes out of the side at like 45 and he can never get the hose to line up to properly work. I'm like, okay, I'm used to working with stiff hose. I'll get her figured out. So I realized that I needed to turn the 90, well, it's like a 45-degree fitting that's on the end of the hose inside the axle tube. I need to turn that to get it to line up with the fitting. So I take the inspection cover off the center of the axle, I get in there, I loosen the fittings up in there, I go back out to the outer fitting on the end of the axle, I grab it with channel locks, and I can roll that hose any direction that I want. I get the swivel valve put in, and the hose connected up. Let's grab these ears. They're on the trees. So, problem solved. Got the oil leak fixed. I got the new style rotary valves in. So that part is fixed. So, L2 number 3 is trying to test me. He's trying to make me work for it, I guess, but I'm going to make a good combine out of it. It's all just little stuff, little nitpicky things here and there that need fixed on it, but all in all, it is a good combine. I did use the Mud Hog the other day. Wasn't in an extreme condition where I really needed it. I just needed a little help steering because it was a little slick on top. So I did use it, and it worked well. You definitely know when you turn it on because you drop quite a bit of ground speed, but it splits the oil between the front drive wheels and the rear drive wheels, so you are going to lose ground speed. So everything is fixed, everything is running smoothly now. I mean, just a minor hiccup. I'm glad that I had L2 number 2 sitting out back for parts. I do plan on, I am going to go to Worthington Ag Parts and I will get everything to put L2 number 2 back together and make it a complete combine again. So a few viewers have asked me what I'm going to do with L2 number 2. Well, I do plan on using it still. A couple of you had a good idea to put the drive tires off L2 number 3, dual them up on L2 number 2, which would be kind of cool. And I also thought about finding me another set of big tires like I run on L2 number 1 to put on L2 number 3 when he doesn't have his tracks on. So I need to find me some more wheels. I think it'd be really cool to have a dual up one and, you know, still keep the 2 I got on big tires and have the track option. I also want to thank the guys that chimed in on my question about the running the Mud Hog with the tracks. We were concerned about the different speed because the Mud Hog's kind of calibrated right now to run with drive tires, not tracks, and we're worried about the sprocket diameter is really going to slow down the ground speed when they put the tracks on. So thank you guys for all your questions and concerns and your advice and all that. I greatly appreciate that. It answered a lot of questions. Another question I had in the comments, a newer viewer is asking, want to know how many acres we farm. We farm 1,500 acres roughly. It's a little more than 1,500, but we just say 1,500 just to be easy. Did notice one thing with the Mud Hog, the combine doesn't turn as sharp as it does with the two-wheel drive. So I'm always used to turning with my two-wheel drive on, and I kind of screw up on my ends sometimes. Get to talking, not paying attention. But anyways, we farm 1,500 now roughly, and I plan on picking up another 100 for next year, so that'd be 1,600. Oh, and you guys that guessed the tractor, there's a handful of you that are right on the money, and I will tell you right now, it's not an 8850 John Deere. I would not own an 8850 unless it was repowered with something cool like a big Cummins or a big Cat or something like that. Then I'd have an 8850. But a factory stock V8 8850, no, I wouldn't have one. So it's definitely not 8850 though. So, and it's, I think you'd be surprised what it is. But to you handful of guys that have guessed it, good job. So, oh, I'm about full. I got to dump again. Oh, and another thing, I need to replace my unloading auger belt because it's slightly worn and it needs replaced. I noticed that yesterday, so that's one thing we got to do too. But other than that, this combine seems to be in good shape. We're going to keep running it, and hopefully the belt comes today for L2 number 1. I'd like to get that one put back together, and I'd like to get them both out in the field picking corn together. I think that'd be kind of cool. So, anyways, short episode today. We're not going to go too crazy. This is actually my farm that I farm. I farmed this last year, had soybeans on it, broke even on it. So I thought I'd give it one more chance and farm it again this year. And it seems like it's doing pretty good with corn. I just wish we could have caught one more rain. It's always that one more rain that we wish we could have caught. But I'll take what I can get this year. So anyways, thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And give you a little story on L2 number 3 so far. So it was one heck of a day with it the other day. But I got her put back together, got her running again. She's running good. So anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.